For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Greg Kelly Show.
Every major network, they've got these big clocks. 6 hours, 54 minutes, and 36, 35, 34 seconds until the debate starts tonight. It's on CNN. Every network has a countdown clock. You know, I think I'm going to go to the movies. I don't know. It's going to be one of two things. It's going to be a catastrophic, massive fail, right? Not for Trump, but I think it's an ambush. I really do. Or it's going to be colossally boring. It could just stink. I saw their little stunt with the microphones. You can only talk one at a time. They put this thing out. It's like a Saturday Night Live sketch. It is the silliest, dopiest thing. When people are talking, it's okay to interrupt. It's okay to interject. We have arguments. This is what CNN, this is cable news. It's being hosted by a cable news network. All right. I tend to remember people, I don't know, what was that show called? Crossfire. Remember with Pat Buchanan and Tom Braden? And they debate the issues of the day, and there was back and forth. Crossfire. That's like in the DNA of CNN. All right? No more. When you have the biggest event of their network history, all right, this debate, which I think they're going to totally blow. It's going to make CNN may never recover from this. This was bad. They told us how the microphone situation was going to work. Do we have it already? All right, take a look at this. CNN, these are CNN, like lesser anchors you haven't heard of, telling us how they are going to administer this dumb thing. Go ahead.
If we go behind the podiums, you can see two green lights. When they're on, they signal to the candidate his microphone is on. When the green lights are off, they signal to the candidate his microphone is off. Now I want to give you a sense of what it will look like for viewers at home if a candidate whose microphone is off interrupts a candidate whose microphone is on. So I'm standing at one podium, and I'll ask Phil to come in and take the other podium. And so let's say I'm answering a question. My light is green, and I'm speaking. Phil's microphone is off, and his green lights are not illuminated. He's going to interrupt me as I'm speaking, and this is what it will sound like. My volume remains constant, while Phil's interruption can be difficult to understand.
Let's try the opposite. My microphone is now on. Victor's microphone is off, and he's going to interrupt me. My volume remains constant, while Victor's interruption can be difficult to understand. Now, CNN's production team has shared this demonstration with the campaigns earlier today, and we're sharing it with you, our viewers, so everyone fully understands how tomorrow night will work. Now, we should note, by agreeing to participate in this debate, both campaigns and candidates have also agreed to abide by these rules. The CNN presidential debate airs live tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
It sucks. I don't like it right now. I don't like it right. First of all, I mean, how a debate? Is there going to be a mute button? Is there going to be a mute button on Jake Tapper? Right? Is he going to be able to? Is there going to be a green light when he can speak and not speak? There ought to be. There really ought to be. Now, listen to this guy. I mean, talk about hypocrisy and not following your own advice. This is Laura Trump. You know who Laura Trump is? She's married to Eric, daughter-in-law of Donald Trump. She is now the co-chair of the Republican Party, and she is a natural-born leader. Incredible political instincts, knowledge, and as far as television skills, there's nothing like her. Nothing. Watch this. This is during the 2020 campaign. Fake Jake Tapper tries to give her a hard time. And it's actually knowing what we know now about all these restrictions and how stupid it's going to be and how biased Jake is. Watch this or listen to this. Cut 23, please.
Millions of women whose votes are up for the grabs, and they have serious concerns about how the president has handled the coronavirus pandemic.
Well, let me just start by saying don't forget that it was President Trump who in January shut down travel coming to the United States from China. He shut down travel from Europe. Thank goodness we didn't have Joe Biden in the White House because he called it xenophobic. We know that he would have been very soft. He would have been politically correct. That would have never happened. Absolutely, he did, Jake.
No, he didn't.
He said it in a tweet. He called it xenophobic.
He referred to the president. I have looked it up. He referred to the president's long history of xenophobia and racism. He did not call.
So he's just jumping in and interrupting. He's interrupting. Wow. How about that? Donald Trump will not be able to do what some punk anchor does every single hour on CNN. Isn't that kind of weird? It makes no sense. Some guy with a haircut is going to be able to interrupt the president. Both presidents, by the way. Anyway, you got to see what a guy. I don't understand Jake Tapper. He's not dumb, but he's a D-I-C-K. I think we can say dick. I think we can say prick. I'm sorry, but that's it. He exudes it in his behavior and the way he treats everybody. Keep going with this, please.
Bans from China and Europe.
Politically correct. Soft Joe Biden would have shut down travel to China, especially now we know it's been very lucrative for Joe Biden and his family, China. This president has done everything every step of the way.
I don't know what that means.
It was a novel virus.
Well, how about doing some research, you punk? You don't know what that means. You don't know what that means. Well, let me tell you what it means, because you have always been wrong and always been timid and always been afraid of Democrats. We have proof that the kids, the Biden family, made money from China. We have proof. We have a statement from his own lawyer. That's what she's talking about. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing? The laptop is not true. I don't understand what that means. It wasn't just, wait, what are you talking about there? Maybe, just maybe, President Trump and his family know things that the fake news doesn't know. There is no evidence for that. I haven't seen that in the New York.
We had to make sure that not only were people safe and healthy physically, but this president put forward the Paycheck Protection Program. He has fast-tracked a vaccine. We have therapeutics that the president himself has proven by using them and coming over COVID. He's done with COVID now, and they work. So, look, I understand the frustration of people out there. We're all very frustrated. But at the onset of this, the experts and the scientists said we could have upwards of 2 million deaths.
If we
now,
did
one
nothing.
death is too many.
Did nothing. That's right.
Go out to every single person.
By the way, they're playing a little game with her microphone, right? They're going in that direction. You see how they kind of turn it down a little bit? So this has been a long time in the making, because you got to hear what Jake has to say, of course, right? Jake is more important than Laura Trump, the co-chair of the Republican National Committee. Of course. Some guy with eyeglasses is important. Eyeglasses and an attitude. That's more important. That's how sick these people are. I mean, it's interesting that how could they ever have become journalists? Aren't you supposed to be a little bit curious, right? No. Why have a debate? Why doesn't just Jake and Dana go out there and just tell us everything that has been decided by you guys in the New York Times? Keep going with this.
Who has had to deal with this, but the president has done actually an incredible job, Jake, with the coronavirus.
That's not
pandemic.
what the American people think.
Thank goodness Joe Biden wasn't in
that's
there.
Not what the American.
That's not what the American. Not only that, he speaks for the American people. He speaks for the American people. The only person who can really do that is the president, kinda, right? On behalf of the American people. I saw somebody else who did it. Willie Geist thanked the Fanone and the fake Capitol Hill cops on behalf of the American people. On behalf of the American people, thank you, Officer Fanone, for leaving your post and getting yourself in literally over your head, not carrying yourself professionally, now becoming a political animal. All right. I do want to stick with this, if you don't mind. Keep going.
Months for the Biden-Obama administration to call it a national emergency. They depleted the stockpile of N95 masks, leaving us in a very bad spot. It is not. They're facts. I'm sorry, they're facts. But the reality is, I go out there
are more
every
than
day
220,000 dead Americans, Laura. There's literally no
correct.
objective health expert who thinks that the president has done a good job with this pandemic. We have the highest death rate in the entire world.
Hey. Why isn't it that Jake did not care about death milestones under Joe Biden? Because more people died under Joe Biden than on Donald Trump. Did you know that? It's interesting that they had a stop the traffic moment every time we lost 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. Now, 400,000 is right when Joe Biden actually came in. And they had a big candlelit ceremony at the Lincoln Memorial. And then they hit 500,000. They had another one at the White House. And then they had 600,000. And they started to dial it back. You know, instead of 50,000 candles, they had 500. And then they had 10. And then they had none. And then they put out a paper statement. And then they started ignoring it entirely because it was happening on their watch. That's fascinating, isn't it? All right. So this is the guy. He and that Dana. Very, very, what's a good word? Vapid. Go ahead.
Here's what I'll tell you. We are coming out of it. We're seeing the death rate decrease dramatically. We also have a huge population. Whenever you want to compare us to Canada, compare us to Europe. We're doing actually much better than Europe is.
No, we're not.
Not only with the virus, but financially. We are. These are numbers. You can go look them up.
I have.
The bottom line here is that women in America want their kids to get back to school safely. They want to reopen.
Why do you think the president is doing so poorly with suburban women?
I hear about. He's not doing poorly. You guys tried this talking point in 2016.
He's down 27 points in a recent poll.
Women were going to vote for Hillary Clinton because she was a woman, and we know that women came out and they supported Donald Trump in a very big way. They're not talking to people out there. We know the polls, Jake, are very
women
wrong
voters. Laura, women voters voted, the majority of them, for Hillary Clinton. Now, white women voters, a majority of them voted for Donald Trump. And it's so odd to me. It's so odd to me. Well, you just said women voters were going to support Hillary Clinton, but they actually voted for Trump. It's so strange to me every time President Trump talks about how women voters went for him. It's as if he's only interested in white women voters.
You son of a bitch. You see this? The little racist prick, right, playing these games? You notice what he said? He said suburban. He said suburban women. All right. Sorry, but that's mostly white women. Okay. That's what we were talking when they talk suburban women, and then he changes it. Oh, now we're just talking about women overall. Oh, when you talk about women, you don't talk about black women. What do you think? They're subhuman? Do you think that's the kind of crap? The cheesy, cheap tricks. It's amazing. It's wow. This is the son of a bitch. This is the guy. 300 million people. This is the guy who's going to sit there and moderate a debate. It's ludicrous. It's insane. Everything's insane. Everything's insane. I just saw a guy in a three-piece suit smoking a joint on the corner. Everything's crazy. New York City Public Schools says it's a constitutional right, essentially, for drag queens to come into the schools and read to kids. And if you object to it, they could charge you with a hate crime. It actually happened to Miss Levy. She was on the PTA, the community. Nothing makes zero. Man, what's that? What do they say? Stop the world. I want to get off, right? Anyway, we all know, though, that God has a wonderful sense of humor, and he's going to pull us out of this stuff. But he wants a hell of a lot of work out of us first, okay? So we all got to do our part. And, man, all right. I need to catch my breath. I'll be right back.
This is the Greg Kelly Show.
Hey, CNN dweebs playing with the microphones. Do you like that? I don't like that. You know what I like? I like rock'em sock'em. And I want an audience in there. I want an audience, and I want them hooting and hollering and reacting. The people should be in there, not just a bunch of technicians who work for CNN. I can't believe it. You want to hear some classic vintage debate with Trump? And actually, these are mostly Republicans he was up against, including and especially Jeb, the Bush family. There's a reason why the Bushes won't endorse Trump. It's because of what he's about to do and what he did to Jeb Bush. Ready? Go ahead.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know. You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real
principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see. I'm at 42 and you're at 3. So
Doesn't matter.
Far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
This doesn't do
Here's a guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000, and then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy. This is what we're going to have as president.
And he's had the gall to go after my
World
mother.
Trade Center came
He's
down
had the
during
gall
your
to go
brother's
after
reign.
my mother.
Remember that.
Hold on. Let me finish this. He's had the gall to go after my mother.
That's not keeping
Look, I
us
won
safe.
the lottery when I was born 63 years ago and looked up and I saw my mom. My mom is the strongest woman I know.
She should
this
be
is
running.
not about my...
Take 30 seconds.
Let me just, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times, you'll have, and it doesn't work very well with
How
them.
tough is it to take property from an elderly woman?
Let me talk. Quiet.
How tough
a lot
is
of
it?
times.
Yeah! Get his ass!
That's all of his donors and special interests out there. So, that's what it is. That's what. And by the way, let me just tell you, we needed tickets. You can't get them. You know who has the tickets for the? I'm talking about to the television audience. Donors, special interests, the people that are putting up the money. The RNC told us we have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need their money. And I'm the only one up here that can say that.
God bless that man, huh? Hey, how about that? That was he's right. The lobbyists, the Republican Party apparatchiks, booing him, hissing him, and he turned it around on all of them, didn't he? And now he owns that party. He owns it. Owns it. And it is a beautiful thing. I would actually prefer those kinds of atmospherics, okay? You could say the audience is a distraction, whatever. I'm sorry, but when you debate, who debates in private? Who debates in private? I mean, has there ever been a private debate? I guess if you really want to go way back, Kennedy and Nixon did debate by themselves in a room, and there was no audience. I like the audience, don't you? What time is this thing starting? 9 o'clock. I will be home. I'm going to watch it at home, and I'm not going to the movies. I wouldn't even know what to go see at the movies. Is there anything? No, there's nothing. Ooh, I've got Joe Biden bragging about how big and expensive the house he's going to buy when he had zero money. This is a fascinating moment that everybody has overlooked, even though it's hiding in plain sight. One of the most important political books, modern political books, although it's totally overrated, but it's called What It Takes. And every egghead journalist out there thinks that they're so erudite because they read this book, or at least they have it on their shelf and they say they read it. Well, I read it, and I know it's crap, all right? It's full of junk, but it's got some real special tidbits about Joe. Joe shooting off his mouth about how rich he is, yet he has no money. It's fascinating. I'll have it when we come back. But it really is studied and talked about a great deal. How do you get there? I mean, you're on your way, but what do you see happening?
Okay, so to answer your question, I look, a year ago I was here, and now I'm doing this, and a year before that I was there, and then I was where I was a year ago. You just got to keep doing it. You just got to keep doing it, and keep. I'm really dedicated to being as good as humanly possible. You go to a city like Los Angeles, everybody just wants to be famous. Everybody they do it because I want to be a star. In New York, people want to be good.
Interesting.
And I just want to be, every time I get on stage, I just want to be better, better, and better. And like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get.
Hecklers, they show up?
I love hecklers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it keeps me on my toes.
Are they ever malicious? Are they ever nasty?
I don't know about malicious or a lot of people are just drunk, confused, this, that, or the other. But yeah, they keep me on my toes. They help my improv skills. That's how I got good at, doing Trump on the street, improvisation. Improv is fun.
Oh, my God. You have a rap song about Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump rapping.
Yeah.
And it is the most unbelievable thing. Now, I asked you about profanity. I think there's a lot of profanity in that one.
Well, the thing is, I did not write that song. It was a fan of mine who is a musician, and he wrote that song for me.
I got hose, lots of hose.
Yes, yes.
And then in the middle of it, you go, what the hell is going on?
What the hell is going on? Yeah.
And finally, by the way, if anybody thinks that this is derogatory or negative about Trump, you're wrong. I picked this up right away. Yes, you are. We're having fun, but not at Trump's expense. This impression celebrates Trump.
Yeah.
I find it celebratory somehow.
Yeah. No, I love the guy.
Yeah. And you find that people love him even more after you do it for him, right? You're kind of you're making headway
I
there.
have shared this with you in the past. You know, there are people in the political arena. I guess I dip a toe in the political arena. I've showed up at events. I've performed as Trump at political events. But there are people who are strictly politics, and I don't know how many people they're converting over to Donald Trump or the conservatism. But I have people come up to me all the time on the street in New York City, wherever I am, telling me, because of you and your Trump impression, I now am a Trump supporter. I like him now. They're like, I used to hate him, but my comedy created a new Trump supporter, a new Trump voter.
There's something about it. It's very reductive. You know what I mean? And people just, I don't know, but you're kind of a bridge to understanding Trump.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing, as well as all your other comedy. So Jason Scoop, we can see him at Yonkers Comedy Club, July 19th through the 21st. Go to YonkersComedyClub.com, and on August 2nd. What day of the week is that, by the way? Do you know?
It's Friday through Sunday. The August 2nd one. August 2nd, I believe, is a Thursday.
It's a Thursday. TheCuttingRoomNYC.com. That's in the 30s, right? I think it's in the... Yeah, it's a great little venue. Yeah. And you might see, who's that guy I like? Lionel. I think Lionel might even be a part owner down there. Hey, Jason Scoop. President Trump. Jason Scoop, thank you. Thank you very much.
So good to be with you.
And Mr. President, good luck tonight.
Well, thank you, Greg, and we're going to do a great job. Okay?
Okay. We'll be right back. Thank you.
You're listening to The Greg Kelly Show.
Well, that was great. We thank Jason Scoop, and we'll see him at, where was that? Yonkers Comedy Club next month, and the 19th through the 21st. What is that life like? We just heard you in a meditative state all day long on the night of the show. I guess they all have their unique ways of doing it. Hey, I do want to show you this Joe Biden stuff from, it's actually 1992, the book came out. What It Takes. It is considered a political classic. Definitely overrated, okay? Cut 16, please. Cut 16.
His older son, Bo, was getting ready for college, and Hunter, the second son, was just a year behind. And of course, Joe hasn't got cash. Whatever he gets, the house eats for breakfast. That house loves cash. So that's why Joe decided he had to have another house. This time it was 17 acres, a $1.1 million estate, an enormous main house with a sauna in the master bath, a swell apartment over the 4-car garage, and the outdoor pool had a separate cabana that was itself like a nice suburban home. And then there was the tennis house with the other sauna and the indoor pool and, of course, the indoor tennis court.
What the hell was Joe Biden doing with no money, wanting to buy a house that extravagant? Isn't that weird? Of course it's weird. And you know who knew it? The author of this book and all of Joe's advisors. This is when he was about to run for president in 1987. He thought he could succeed Ronald Reagan. But he's got the taste for the finer things in life. In his own autobiography, he said he had a lust for real estate. Wow, a lust. He had been seduced at a very early age. Next clip.
It was a compound. It was Hyannisport. He could see the goddamn thing in Life magazine. He could just about lay out the photos right now. Touch football on the grass, the house fuzzy in the background, him and his brothers and the boys, sharp in white, no, blue jeans, with Bowie running out for a pass which Joe would throw on a line, tight spiral, maybe catch the damn ball spinning in the air if the photographer was any good. The Bidens. First family.
You hear anything about us in any of that? About the people? He's just lusting for power and fame and money. But here's the thing, because he really did model himself. He thought, we're going to be like the Kennedys. The Kennedys were incredibly rich. They were rich for 100 years before John F. Kennedy ran for public office. The Fitzgeralds and the Kennedys, Brahmins from Boston. Remember, Joe, according to himself, is just a jerk from Scranton, right? How about this stuff? And it gets worse when we come back.